Yes, welcome in one and all to the 14 Yards Betting Podcast. It's week 10. Get your betting slips ready. It's time to make you some cash. Yes, indeed. To see if we can win you some money. I'm Timothy Lambert-Monk. I am your host. Joining me, as always, every week, the great Adam Wolford, Mr. at Touchdown Tips on Twitter. Adam, how is the penny dropping for you in week 9 or week 10, or just in general, really? How you had a day off today, so I suppose the penny dropping quite well for you.
Yeah. Day off always helps. I mean, it chucked it down here today as well, so I'm quite happy to have been off work instead of out in the in all the seasons that are out there today. It's a weird one. I'm always more tired on my days off. I don't know why, but it's 8:30 at night and I'm shattered. But I'm all good. I've been doing a fair bit of work. I've got most of my previews done for tomorrow already, so it saves me having to worry about them tomorrow morning. So all good.
And don't forget you can get those at tvtips.com. But yeah, like I say, what better way, ladies and gentlemen, to spend your Saturday night than with us. We do thank you for it. Any bets along the way, any bets that you fancy for week 10, let us know in the comments, whether you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. And if I get them up on my little screen, we'll read them out. Maybe we'll talk about some of them as well. But in the meantime, before we let's get into week 8, I suppose. Any lessons learned from last week, Adam, or anything that we should be aware of? I know there's a bit of weather going on as well this weekend in some games.
Yeah, last weekend I had an up and down weekend. I was about half and half in the end, only a couple of points down on my recommended bets. But there's a few little bits that bugged me, a few bits that didn't. It's just been one of those kind of stretches for me where everything's half a yard off or a yard off. Like Thursday night this week, I had Trey Burton over 24.5 yards. He got 24 yards, obviously. But it was a good line because it was 29.5 everywhere else. So the bet was right. It was just unfortunate. And that seems to have been the story of the last few weeks for me.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of line changes, which we'll get to shortly as well. But like I say, some weather in Cleveland and Green Bay, amongst some others, not in Carolina this week. I don't know what the weather like is in Pittsburgh, but make sure when you place your bets, you check over NFLweather.com. I think Pittsburgh was okay, but then that's kind of in the same vicinity as well.
20 mile an hour winds, not too bad. Windy and partly cloudy.
Windy and partly cloudy. How we wouldn't mind that too much. Last week, I suppose I've taken an L on the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. Garrett Gilbert and the Cowboys trolling me as I said, give us 20. Jesus, we nearly scored 20 points ourselves, but there we go. Never mind. We live and learn. Big Ben obviously is okay and activated for tomorrow. So yeah, luckily no Mason Rudolph. Rudolph can wait till December this year so far. Well, we've got two Christmas pun for you there. Christmas pun.
Hey.
Another couple of weeks. Another couple of weeks to wait for that. Right, okay, let's get into, if I can find the right banner. Is it the right banner? It's maybe the right banner. I'm trying to think slightly different today, so I'm going to no doubt cock it up here. What have we got here? What's this one? Total points. We'll do total points first because that's what I've put on the screen. Anything that I say it's really bad. Can I get rid of that banner? Let's get rid of that. There we go. Anything take your fancy? I mentioned obviously the Cleveland Houston line was 49. It maybe even touched 50 early in the week. What have you got down there? Where's Browns? Where's Texans and Browns? 45.5. That's obviously come in quite a bit, isn't it? And anything else that stands out to you there? Obviously, biggest one of the week. Bills Cardinals 56.5. I've got a sneaky feeling that's going to be a funny little game, that one. But two okay defenses, not great defenses, but the offense is obviously a lot better. And Buffalo got, like I said last week on the podcast, a perfect tonic for last week getting the Seattle defense. Do you reckon the Cardinals and Bills will serve up most points of the weekend?
I think he'll go over the total. Obviously, I wouldn't ever take it at that high, but it should be the highest skying game of the week. Obviously, the Bills put up 44 last week. Cardinals were over 30 as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something around like 70 points again. Kyler Murray on third down, those little runs that he does are pretty much unstoppable, so he keeps drives going. And obviously, Josh Allen got it going again last week with Smokey Brown back. He's got his top 3-4 receivers back finally, so that's obviously going well for them. On this one, I'm surprised. I don't know why the Broncos and Raiders hasn't gone up. It's been at 50-ish all week, and I'm very surprised by that. The Raiders have gone over the total in 6 out of their 8 games. The Broncos have gone over the total in 5 out of their 8 games. and neither of them can really defend. The Raiders are one of the worst teams in the league on defense, and the Broncos. Drew Lock is generally, the last couple of weeks, he's been terrible for the first 3 quarters, and then put up 21 points in each of the last fourth quarters of those games. So he's going to keep on going, and he should be able to put up points in garbage time if he needs. So I'm surprised that one is staying so low, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a typical one. If we said, going back the Denver Broncos fourth quarter points, they'd probably put a duck egg up. But it's quite a few high lines. I think 49ers and Saints is slightly higher. I think the Saints defense has shown, obviously, so it's an interesting line, that one. I think that was 6.5. We'll get to total points in a minute. But the Saints defense is getting a bit better and getting a bit healthier as well. Ravens Patriots 43.5. Obviously Sunday Night Football. That could be an interesting one. I think Ravens might get that one on their own. To be quite honest, I think they're going to take the opportunity to smash Bill Belichick and the Patriots, because they haven't had many chances to do that over the last 2 decades. Washington and the Detroit line I thought was quite high at 46. I don't really see much going on there in terms of points. They say Jags Packs 47.5, probably slightly a bit low again due to a bit of weather. I think Eagles Giants is an interesting one that could slightly go over, but I'd be worried about the Giants scoring that one. But they're at home, so it'd be interesting to see what we can do with that. Bengals Steelers 46 points. What do you reckon?
I honestly, I don't know. I think that should go over. I think we're capable of putting up points, and I think we'll keep it close. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes over that. I can see them getting 25-30, and I think we'll get 21 to 25 as well. So I think it's going to be around 50-ish. So yeah, I'd go with the over. As I say, it just said slight. 20 miles an hour is about where it starts to get a little bit iffy, and I'd imagine, if you're thinking that's the average, and then there's gusts and everything, then could rise a bit, or it could keep the score down. I don't know, to be honest. I'm trying to stay away from betting that game as much as I can. It's going to be stressful enough without having money on it.
No, absolutely. And just a quick note on the Rams Seahawks as well. 54.5 could be one for the overs. Russell Wilson doesn't really. He's kind of defense proof, isn't he? I know Rams is an okay defense, pretty decent defense to be fair. But I think they've got a couple of guys out on that defensive side of the ball. So Bobby Woods, I know he's. I think is going to have a good game this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Let's move over then to total points. The handicap lines. A couple that I actually quite like a lot this week. I don't know about you, Adam. Obviously in front of the screen now. One that stands out to me is there's a couple. Baltimore, obviously -7. I know they're traveling to the Patriots, but I got a funny feeling there could be a beat down in that one. Eagles, Cleveland, another couple that I quite like. Anything that tickles your fancy, or anything that stands out to you? What about the Saints -10? That was 6.5, I think, prior to the Saints beating the Bucs. Obviously, slight, dare I say, an overreaction to that one.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be touching that one. You just never know with Shanahan and what he's going to be able to create. They've said that they're going to give McKinnon a big workload, but whether that means they will or not, I don't know. I would definitely be avoiding that one. I'm with you. The 3 that you mentioned, the Browns, the Eagles, and the Ravens. As you said, I think the Ravens could smash that one. They won by 14, I think, last week against the Colts, and the Colts are a far better team than the Patriots. So I think the Ravens could put up a lot on that one. The Rams have actually got quite a good record against the Seahawks. So my original instinct there was to take the Seahawks, but I've avoided that one. The Chargers have surely got to win a game eventually. And for them, they were +2.5 earlier in the week. They're +1.5 now. So money's come for them. Justin Herbert has lost 6 of his 7 starts in 1-score games. And obviously they won the other one. So it's just 1-score games for him. So I think if you can get, that's a perfect teaser leg, really, is the Chargers. Tease them up to 7.5, and you're sitting pretty. The Broncos spread has come in as well. That was 5 earlier in the week. It's now 3.5. I'm with you on the ones that you mentioned, and the Bucks Panthers confuses me. I'm not sure which way to go. In theory, the Bucks are going to want to kill someone after their embarrassment last week, and the Panthers could be that team. You look at the Bucks roster and you think, how do they not put up points? And they've got obviously a great run defense, so they should be able to stop Mike Davis and put it on Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel, and I think they should be able to deal with them. So I think the Bucks should cover the spread, but it's not one that I would like to back. I've got one of these in my naps in a bit, so I'll go into a bit more detail on one too.
Yeah, there's a couple of interesting ones. The 49ers plus 10, I think, is probably too many for the Saints to cover, possibly. But there's a lot of movement this week. I'm not entirely too sure why. There is a lot of movement. I don't envisage at this point in the season there's going to be there's a lot of overreaction, and so we kind of know who teams are at this point and kind of matching up against each other. But yeah, we shall see. Okay, before we get to naps and next best, then Adam, let's get to our anytime touchdown scorers. But just before we get to your ones, I just want to point out, I know I do love a revenge game. There's loads of revenges going on in week 10, so I'll pick out 4. You mentioned John Brown earlier. Obviously, he travels back to Arizona with the Buffalo Bills. He's 2-1 anytime. Duke Johnson, obviously the Cleveland Brown revenge game, and obviously no David Johnson in that one either. So I think 6-4 is probably a bit too short for my liking in a game that could be again we saw it was like in Cleveland when they played the Raiders a couple of weeks ago and the weather wasn't great. So I'm not quite sure if that one's going to get anything going, but he's probably got the whole back foot to himself, and there's a couple of Duke Johnson props I like, which I'll get onto later as well. But I thought 6-4, not really interested too much in that one for anytime touchdown scorer. A couple more. Kalen Ballage with the Chargers obviously had a really good game last week for Los Angeles. They obviously traveled to Miami, where he's kind of got lost and buried in the depth chart and really didn't get anything too much going. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets reactivated. I think he was protected on the practice squad, wasn't he? And I know Tremaine Pope should be okay as well for this one. But yeah, 4-1. I thought Kalen Ballage was quite big. And then finally, Cordero Patterson, Monday Night Football, Chicago Bears. Obviously used to be a Minnesota Viking. No David Montgomery, so God knows what. No, not having it at all.
I know, like you said, no Montgomery. So who the hell? I mean, Ryan Nall, I suppose, and Cordero Patterson. I don't think they've got anyone else back there. Yeah.
Lamar Miller, no price yet on Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller's on the practice squad. He's lurking.
Is he?
Be interesting to see. So I'd be interested to see if he gets activated. Be interested to see what the bookies put up price for him, because that's the kind of thing where bookies might look at it and might not have a depth of knowledge about the NFL, but they might see it and say, they've activated from the practice squad. He's going to be like a 10-20-1 shot, and I would be absolutely all over that. Absolutely all over that. But we're out and see. I'll probably come in and be even money favourite. There we go.
Probably
it would be my luck. Okay, just before I finish, I'll round for a couple of others. What do you like for anytime touchdown score wise? Anyone in the comments? Anyone watching? If you've got any anytime touchdown scorers that you like, shout them out, and we'll talk them and put them on the air. But what do you like? 10.
A very short one. Nick Chubb. He's 11-10, so you're getting plus money on him at Sky Bet, and he's about 1-2 everywhere else. So I'm not sure why they're a little bit behind on that. Yeah, he's going to get 200 odd yards tomorrow. He's going to run all over the Texans.
Are we worried that he might not be a bit rusty?
Nah. No. Not fussed at all. We've seen Kareem Hunt back there, and he hasn't done very well. They've also got Wyatt Teller back, the PFF's number 1 rank guard, I think, which will help the run game and the passing game. So I think Chubb's going to have a massive game, to be honest. He will be in my DraftKings lineups. Alan Lazard should be back for the Packers. Gives them someone else to throw to finally. He's 4-1 at Paddy Power. Alf Morris for the Giants. He's the RB2 there. But he's been getting 7-8 carries per game. He's 7-1 at 365, which I'm quite happy with. Jordan Reed, tight end for the 49ers, obviously. It's between him and Ross Dwelly. I think they eased Reed back in last week. I think he'll be a bit more involved this week. He's 4-1. William Hill and Paddy Power. Van Jefferson for the Rams is 12-1 at William Hill. And Kyle Rudolph, the forgotten man in Minnesota. Irv Smith is ruled out. So I thought Rudolph at 9-2 for Paddy Power wasn't too bad either. And then obviously we've got the Sky Bet trebles, which we'll quickly get into. Not a fan of the first one just because it's got Kareem Hunt in it. Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Kareem Hunt is 10-1. So in fairness, big odds for what it is, because you'd imagine Adams will score. Evans, I think they're probably going to score 3 or 4 through the air, so he might get 1. So you're basically looking at Kareem Hunt at probably 2-3-1 there just to finish that off. And then I do quite like the late one, Alvin Kamara, Kyler Murray and DK Metcalf at 7-1 on Sky Bet for those trebles.
Yeah, the two certainly like the second one. It's slightly shorter. It's quite funny because the 6 o'clock one is usually the short one, and they do the shorter price kind of running backs. But yeah, not to be this week. Obviously, Sean, one of the 10 yards crew, likes Chubb anytime and over in the Cleveland Houston game. I think if that total points line keeps coming down, I'd take the over as well, especially if the weather doesn't come to kind of fruition, but we shall see. So just before we move on to our props and our naps and next best, a couple of others. Gus Edwards 3-1. I thought was a huge price. I can't remember if Mark Ingram has been ruled out yet.
He's been practicing.
Is he? I thought he did not practice on Friday.
No, he's. I'm sure I saw a notification today saying he was back.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, then scrap that. But the Patriots are awful on the ground, awful defense in general, actually, and I think they'll. I know it's a committee. Gus Edwards obviously got in the end zone last week, wasn't overly efficient, and it's been a bit of a nightmare trying to sort out that backfield. But I thought 3-1 was a fair shout for a team that could score and run all over the Patriots. I can just see it, 1 yard hammer, 1 yard line. In you go. Thank you very much. Lamar Jackson was 7-5 as well. Again, I think he's. Yeah, the next couple of weeks or so, he's going to kind of want a point to prove, chip on his shoulder. Bring all the cliches out. I think he'll want to score into the end zone, especially on was it Sunday Night Football, isn't it? Prime time. Get his name on the score sheet and kind of get himself back in the running for. Not saying that he's going to make an MVP run, but obviously he's not been talked about at all this season. So just to be able to cover the headlines on Sunday Night Football, I think he'll be quite interested in making those headlines. The other one, big price, Cam Akers 5-1 for the Rams. Who again, another backfield that is an absolute mess, but. Sean McVay said, come out with a few comments saying that he wants to get him the ball more. Coaches speak, yes, I know it is, and he said that at the start of the season that he had the same coaches speak. To take it with a pinch of salt, but I thought 5-1 could be an interesting one. And again, Seattle defense is absolutely awful, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Akers roll in at 5-1. I think that was it for the rest of my. Anytime touchdown scorers. Have you looked at any props this week, Adam? There's a couple I like. I don't know if you've got any.
Yeah, I've got a few, and I don't want to sound like I'm copying people, but I've annoyingly a few of these were pointed out by Jack and the guys at Bet and Flea, and I've joined their group and saw a few of them earlier. So Tim Patrick over 3.5 receptions for the Broncos, I thought was quite good. 10-11, he tends to get that. JD McKissick is one that I've seen Jack Humphrey and Jack Wilson tip up this week. He gets a lot of catches off Alex Smith in the short game. Over 4.5 his reception line is on Bet365 now, but that's at 5-4. Sterling Shepard over 3.5 at 4-6 is, I don't want to say buying money, but it should be. He gets more of the ball than anyone else in that offense. Aaron Jones over 69.5 rush yards, I think, is a very good one as well. Obviously, it's quite windy up there. You're going to think that they're going to run the ball a lot. That's 5-6 on 365 as well. And Justin Herbert, he's now up to 272.5 passing yards. He keeps going over his number. He's had over 264 in every game that he's played. So 272.5, I think, is fairly decent. He did open up at 269.5, which I jumped on. But yeah, I think he should still go over 272, despite the fact that the Dolphins are proven to be quite an annoying defense.
Yeah.
It's my only worry.
West to East Coast against a decent Miami Dolphins defense. Smells under to me.
Yeah, I did see a ridiculous stat in a WhatsApp group earlier, so I've not proven it. I don't know for sure, but Californian-based rookie QBs are 113-1 traveling across the country.
Jesus
in
Christ.
history, which, as I say, it sounds too big to be true, and I've not tested it anywhere or actually researched it, but that was what someone posted. So if that's true, that's absolutely ridiculous, and obviously that would be Justin Herbert in this one. So it doesn't exactly bode well for him if that is the case, but I thought it was one worth looking into, and which I will do after this.
Yeah, there we go. Obviously, you can tweet that out on our touchdown tips, and we'll give that a retweet as well. That's a cracking stat. I don't know if Sean's watching, but that would win the Monday pod stat. That if true. Yeah, if true. Yeah, you might have the same sources as Lawrence again. You mentioned Aaron Jones on the ground, 69.5. I thought that was pretty good, especially if the wind gets up on that one and it's going to be cold and possibly a bit of rain and not knocking about there as well. But I actually watched Jamal Williams' prop lines Jones for that game. I think I only looked on Bet365. His receiving yards over under was 11.5, which I thought was really small for him. Considering the longest reception for him was 8.5, so I'm not quite sure that doesn't seem right to me. But yeah, I would smash the over 11.5 because he can do that. He generally does that on one, and they have specific screenplays or wheel routes for him dedicated to Jamal Williams. Again, Aaron Jones, I know, came off an injury last week, and they kind of gave him a lot of the ball because everyone else kind of went down. But be interesting to see how much they give Aaron Jones this week in a game which they could blow out the Jacksonville Jaguars quite early on. And again, you're going to get garbage Jamal Williams. So I just thought 11.5 was really low on that one. That was Bet365 for anyone that fancies that. I mentioned Duke Johnson, revenge game. He's 3.5 receptions, 26 yards. I think I saw was his over underline for receiving yards. So I thought I'll probably leave the 26 alone personally, especially if the weather's going to be a bit dodgy. But over 3.5 could be interesting considering he could possibly line up outside or a wide receiver as well. So be interesting to see what they do with him, because like I say, I can't even name the other running backs on that roster. So should see a little bit. They're quite a dinky and dunky offense as well, which suits Duke Johnson. And I think I can't remember who it was. There was a stat where he's second, and again, can't remember the first running back, but he's forced the most missed tackles since in a couple of years or something out of all RBs. I can't remember the other one. That's really bad for me, but there we go. Half a stat that I don't even know when the time frame is. All right, let's get out of here then with naps and next bets. Adam, tell the lovely people what your best bet is for week 10.
Yeah, my nap is Cleveland Browns -4. That's 10 to 11, I believe, at 365. Yeah, they should be able to run all over the Texans defense. They're a run-first team, and that's what they want to do, and they should be able to do that in this game. Obviously, the weather is meant to be dodgy. According to NFLweather.com, it's 58 Fahrenheit, rain, and dangerously windy. I'm not quite sure what qualifies as dangerously windy, but it was, I think, 28, 29 miles an hour winds, which is, again, what you want to avoid. So I think running the ball is the way that they'll go, and they've got Nick Chubb back. As I say, I don't think I'm not too worried about him being rusty coming back in. I think if anything, he'll be fresher. So I think they're going to run all over a bottom 5 run defense, frankly. So yeah, the Texans are a dome team as well. They're not used to this weather, whereas the Browns played it 2 weeks ago. They know what to expect. They know. Hopefully, they'll have learned from that and a bit more experience. And so. Yeah, the Raiders game was a bit crazy. Sean, you probably won't like me because I've probably just jinxed it now. But I appreciate the love. And Browns -4, I think, is probably is definitely my nap. I've got them in the red zone comp as well.
Yeah, and Mary Poppins as well. If you're in the Ohio area, I'll probably put your umbrella away. Okay, cool. I've got a funny feeling about that -4. It seems like a weird line to me. If it was 3, I mean, I'd probably be prepared to juice it to the 3 and take the shorter odds. Maybe it was 8 to 11, generally something like that, 4 or 6 or something. But yeah, -4 it's a funny line. It's an absolutely funny line. I'm going to go with my nap then. My nap is the Eagles -3. I danced around a lot of these handicaps this week, and initially I had Baltimore -7. As my nap, but there's quite a few I just think the Eagles are a lot better team than the New York Giants. I don't think they're particularly interested in winning. They always find it hard to score points. I think the Eagles, they're away, but they're starting to get a bit healthier. Ray Gordon's back, Miles Sanders is back. Alshon Jeffrey is negligible, negligible for me. I just think the Eagles could start. Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's another good one. I think they could just start there. I mean, they're hardly going to have to get out first gear, are they, to win the NFC East? Just put 3 wins together, and I think they're there. But yeah, Eagles -3. I think it's just probably a bit too low for them. I'd probably make it 4 or 5 points. But again, there's not been a lot of confidence, and the Eagles have struggled to, but they played Dallas a couple of weeks ago and struggled there as well. So obviously, Wentz will have to not hold the ball as long as he has been doing. But having Miles Sanders back will surely help, and having a few people to throw to as well will also help with that as well. And the Giants have a decent linebacking, and some of the parts of the defense are okay, but I just think Eagles will get that one done. Okay, they are the nap selections. Let's move on to next best. And Adam, what's your next best for week 10?
Yeah, player that you mentioned in the revenge column, John Brown over 3.5 receptions at 8 to 11. against the Cardinals. He had 8 receptions last week. I don't. Obviously, it's difficult to judge because it was against the Seahawks and they're awful. But he is the key to their offense, I think. Obviously, the first month of the season where they put up points on everyone, that was when he was playing. He was out, and then they kind of slowed down a bit. But he's been back the last couple of weeks, and 8 receptions last week. I think over 3.5 is pretty good this week against a decent enough Cardinals defense, but one that the Bills should be able to put up points on. Obviously, they allowed 30 plus against the Dolphins last week, so I'm fairly confident Josh Allen and John Brown should be able to connect.
Yeah, it'll be a good game, that one. I hope it doesn't turn into one of those weird defensive games where they just get a bit funny and try and get a bit cute. But yeah, certainly should be a high scoring one there. Okay, my next best, I did say it was my nap, but it's going to be my next best. Baltimore -7. I think they're going to absolutely curb stomp the New England Patriots. They were awful against the Jets last week, and the Jets haven't been able to say this for a while, but they lost a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. When was the last time the Jets had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter? It was a while ago, wasn't it? They obviously just about got it done. The Patriots, they're just a shadow of what they used to be. I don't care if it's Sunday Night Football, don't care if it's in Foxborough and it's on prime time. I think John Harbaugh doesn't get, not many GMs or head coaches get a chance to go into Foxborough and embarrass Bill Belichick and the Patriots. But I think Lamar Jackson, again, I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder for the rest of the season. They have to keep pace with Pittsburgh, obviously still undefeated. So at the very worst, they're going for the number 5 seed, but. I fully expect Baltimore to go in with the ground game, control the ball, and the Patriots offense doesn't match up too well against the defense of Baltimore either. Baltimore, one of the best defenses on DVOA against the run, that's all. Obviously, Cam Newton's a running quarterback, and that's all New England Patriots do. Is a short game or is a running game. They literally have no wide receivers. I think N'Keal Harry's coming back, but he's about as fast as a scarecrow on the field. Julian Edmonds on IR. Ryan Izzo is a tight end that no one's really ever heard of. Who else have they got? I mean, was it Jacoby Myers, Demi Bird, and all that? Like these are no disrespect to them, but these aren't NFL wide receivers. They're bit part players or practice squad players, and then I can't see. I mean, I'm confident about this one as I was with the Steelers last week. So take that, take that as you like. So, funny things can happen, but I just don't see an instance where Baltimore don't win by a touchdown. You get the 7-point refund if it is just a touchdown game. I just don't see the Patriots scoring many points, and I can see Baltimore putting up 30, maybe even 40, because I think they'll run the score up and they'll want to put a statement out to say, look, don't forget about us. They had a good win last week against the Colts. Obviously aided by a defensive touchdown. That's brilliant. One of the gifts of the year from Philip Rivers.
Rivers.
Baltimore -7 is my next best. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. 27 minutes rolling on 30, so we getting closer to 10 minutes every week. But I enjoy the chat, Adam. Tell everyone obviously where they can get your stuff. Obviously you can see it on the screen, and obviously tell everyone about the DraftKings that we have every week.
At Touchdown Tips on Twitter, Touchdown Tips and TDTips.com. DraftKings, I think we filled both contests last week. I didn't do very well in them, but $5 a go. The top 3 get paid. I think, as I said last week, is like $95 or something. Prize pool. If you haven't got an account, you can get a free $10 when you open an account at dkng.co/TDTips.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't do very well. I didn't think I came second the week before. There's obviously with all the injuries and stuff, there's quite a few decent valued running backs in that one. Giovanni Bernard, Mike Davis, Duke Johnson, all the rest of it. But go and pick your team. Come and give us a go. Come and take our money. I think Sean will obviously have his usual DFS article coming out on the Full 10 Yards website either tonight or tomorrow. Adam, thank you for your time as always. Let's hopefully we can get some cash as we head towards Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Anything you're taking that you're trying to get from the Black Friday sales?
PS5, but they're not going to be on sale, and B, they're not on stock, so it seems unlikely. And I hope none of you buy anything online because postmen are getting killed at the moment. So just go to the shop, buy it all in by hand. Don't order stuff online.
Make sure you wear a face mask. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be looking for a TV. So hopefully some winnings this weekend can buy me a nice new TV. Any TV suggestions, get in touch with me at Fat Full 10 Yards on Twitter at Tim_Monk_F10Y. I'm looking for a new TV. I haven't bought a new TV for donkey's years. But anyway, good luck with all your bets. Please gamble responsibly. We'll see you same time, same place next week. But in the great word of Kevin Kittle, it's a bye-bye for now. A bye-bye.